morning. Today we're going to start our media exploration unit by learning about what we can do with pencil. Sometimes pencil gets a little underestimated and we don't realize all the cool effects that we can get by just using an everyday ordinary pencil or maybe just a little bit nicer quality drawing pencil. For today's work, you're going to need your sketchbook. We're going to be doing a lot of media testing out in your sketchbook. We're also going to be using just regular old pencils. So just have a regular, everyday, ordinary pencil, but also have your ebony pencil. I included these in the kits that you were supposed to pick up with your devices. If for some reason you don't have your ebony pencil and your smudge stick, which is another thing that we're going to need to use that were in the kits, if you don't have that, if you didn't manage to pick that up at school, pause the video and give me an email right away so that I can figure out a way to get that those materials to you. I'd also have handy some kind of an eraser, either a separate eraser or just whatever's on your pencil, and a pencil sharpener, and you're going to need your ruler. Or at least you will need some sort of straight edge. So let's get started on video 1, working in pencil. Okay, so we're going to compare today what it's like to work with just a regular old pencil and what it's like to work with the slightly higher quality ebony pencil. So I'm going to take my pencil, and what I'm going to do first is make a little chart. I'm going to make a line here up at the top, and I'm going to write pencil, and I'm going to write ebony pencil. So as I'm doing this, please work with me. You can always pause the video to catch up. We're going to make a chart comparing these two. I'm going to make a line down the center, and I am not measuring. I'm just using this as a straight edge. It doesn't have to be perfect. If you'd like to measure, you can see this is crooked. It's fine. You know, you're welcome to measure if you'd like it to be a little bit more pristine. But otherwise, what we're going to do is divide it in half down the middle, and then we're going to make 4 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. If you would like to watch the whole video and then do your explorations without these lines or divide a little bit differently, I know some people really get into creative sketchbooking. You're welcome to do that as long as you complete all of the tasks. So what we're going to explore with both of these media is first value, and that is how dark or light something can be. So I'm going to write that down. If you already know that, you don't necessarily have to write it down. But if you weren't sure what value meant as an element of art, you might want to write that down. That value is how dark or light something is. The second thing we're going to be looking at is how to smudge. Smudging. The third thing we're going to explore is line quality. And the fourth thing that we will talk about is having fun with mark making. And we'll just compare and contrast how it works with a regular pencil and how it works with an ebony pencil. So first of all, value. A lot of times people tend to draw with a middle value, like this is about as dark as we might get, but that's not really getting the most out of our pencil. So what I want you to do with your pencil is I want you to start over towards the left, and I want you to press down as hard as you can and get the darkest possible color. You can do this by adding pressure and by layering, by going over it a couple of times. And then start working your way to the right side of the paper. And as you do that, lift up on your pressure. So I'm just easing up on my pressure as I go across the page. And what you see is it gets lighter and lighter and lighter. So I'm creating different values or different darknesses and lightnesses by the amount of pressure and the amount of layers that I'm using with my pencil. And you can see with a pencil, I can get pretty dark. I can also get pretty light, and there's a whole lot of medium. Too often in our drawings, we stay in this middle zone. And what I want to encourage you to do is try in your drawings to get really dark in some areas and to use those really nice lights. So that is creating a value scale with your pencil. Let's try it out with the ebony pencil. With an ebony pencil, you'll notice that that dark comes really easily because this is a super light or a super soft lead. In fact, the lead that's inside your ebony pencil is really soft and can break easily. So I would advise not tapping with it or dropping it. because then you'll get that thing where you sharpen your pencil and then the lead comes out really easily. So by easing up on my pressure here, I can get a slightly more dramatic value scale, and it's a little bit softer. You don't see the lines as much with an ebony pencil because of that soft lead. So that's what you can get by using an ebony pencil for your values. I can get dark values, I can get light values, I can get medium values. I can do that with both pencils though, so don't think that you have to have a fancy pencil to get dark values. Next step, smudging. Going back to our regular pencil. So let's say I have some shapes that I've shaded in. Just start making some random lines, squiggles. It can really look, you can draw a shape if you want. Let's say I draw a circle. I'm going to add in some shadows. Just draw some lines here, some shades. And then I'm going to take my smudge stick. So it doesn't matter if it was a wider or a thinner smudge stick. They're all pretty much just compressed pieces of paper that help you smooth out your pencil marks. So by angling it and pushing it over your marks, what you can get is a nice softer value. If I'm trying to shade something and I don't want to actually see all of those lines, I can smudge those out. And then don't forget that another drawing tool is an eraser. I could go back in and I could add in some values. So let's say I wanted to draw in those smudged areas, some light lines. I can always do that with my eraser. So I guess this is really smudging and erasing. So try a little smudging, try a little erasing, and then do the same thing with your ebony pencil. I'm just gonna do a little mark here, little mark here, and then let's see what happens with my ebony pencil. You'll notice the ebony pencil maybe retains that dark value a little bit more. There's the bell, little happy sound from when you are in school. And I'm going to try to make these videos at school, so you may see some interruptions. But I'll try to keep it as straightforward as possible. Okay, so that's the smudge stick with ebony. So I can go in here and I can add in some details with my eraser, add in some light spots. Never forget that you can draw with an eraser as well. So that's our ebony pencil, smudging and erasing. Line quality. So when I say line quality, I mean the characteristics of your line. Is it a heavy line? Is it a thin line? Is it a shaky line? Is it curvy? Is it light and heavy and then light and then heavy and then light? A lot of times you can create a lot of different line qualities just by different directions, different pressure. You can do dashed lines, dotted lines. Sometimes we underestimate how many different types of lines there really are. They're not all just a straightforward outline. So what I want you to do is try to make as many different types of lines. Be creative with your line quality. Try different pressures within the same line, and then try that with your ebony pencil. You'll notice that you have a slightly different line quality from your ebony pencil because you've got a little bit thicker, softer line. So let's explore some line quality. So try out a few different types of line quality. And then lastly, mark making. So let's say I'm drawing some shrubbery. You might try scribble. You might try like zigzaggy lines. You might try little hatched lines. We'll talk about hatching and cross-hatching on a future video, but you might try lines that all go in the same direction. You might try crisscrossing. That's called cross-hatching. Mark making is the way you're applying your marks or your lines to a paper, and that has to do with pretty much any material that you're using. So when you are making marks, that becomes a part of your artwork. If I choose to make these kinds of marks, that's going to feel different than if I choose to make these kind of marks. It's going to have a different feeling. It's going to have, like, this one feels like lighter and fluffier. This feels like a little spikier. So when you make a mark, whether it is with a pencil or a coloring pencil or a smudge stick or an eraser, any mark you make becomes a part of your artwork and helps set the tone for your artwork. So I want you to explore using different marks. You can even look up online mark making and line quality and find a lot of sketchbook pages that have a lot of different exploration of line quality and mark making. But for today, I just want you to see the difference between pencil and between ebony pencil. So this is all you're going to be doing for this video. There's going to be a little bit of exploration with coloring pencil next in the next video. But please make sure that you have explorations in value, smudging and erasing, line quality, and mark making on one of your pages of your sketchbook. All right, thanks, and I'll see you soon.